Welcome to part 4 of the Beginner Series videos. In this video we're going to be talking about the user interface in World of Warcraft, or the UI. The user interface is basically everything you see on the screen, and it's what you use to interact with the game itself. In the upper left corner you'll see your character window, and if you have a pet as well. The upper right corner gives you your mini-map, which we discussed earlier, and at the bottom of the screen is your action bar. By default, when you start the game, your action bar already has some things on it. You have, depending on your class, you'll have your spell, your basic spells or your basic ability, some racial abilities, and then the character menus. You also have slots for bags, and by default you get a 15 slot bag. As of right now in the game, you are unable to replace your original bag with anything bigger. You're stuck with the 15 slot bag. Let's talk about customizing the user interface. First, you've got your chat windows. There's a general chat and a combat log. You have the ability to unlock and move these around. So that way if you wanted to be able to see your chat window, you could. If you unlock it, you can move it around, make it bigger, smaller. You also have the ability to change font sizes. So you can make it a 12-point font, something that doesn't take up as much room, for example. Once you're done, you can always lock it back in, and you do not have to separate them. If you want more real estate, by all means, leave them together. It just can sometimes, if you're not paying attention, it can be easy to lose track of somebody who's been speaking with you if you don't have that window up top. You can also create new windows based on who you're chatting with. So if you were speaking with somebody, you could move that conversation to its own new window. And you could also unlock it and move it. Let's talk about the game menu. In the game menu, the top option is Help, where you can see a knowledge base which has top issues already with their answers. So say, for example, you had questions about your account getting hacked. You could read more information about that. Specific questions about account security or information about account security. If your character is stuck someplace, if you're having problems with lag is when you notice your game looks just kind of stuck. If you wanted to report abuse, and then you can open a ticket. So if you are having problems, something disappeared out of your mailbox, things like that. That's what the help window or the help feature is for. If you look at the options, this is where you can make changes to your video size, alter your graphics, things like that. If you find you are having problems with lag, you may want to decrease the quality of your graphics. Some of the advanced features, but the only thing you may need to worry about is make sure you have the correct DirectX applied. Sound, you may find it better if you decrease the game volume. Sometimes it can get fairly loud, but say for example you wanted more ambient noises, less music, more sound, things like that. And then you can also enable the voice chat, which is an in-game voice chat capability. In the interface, this is where you can make changes and alterations to the user interface. So for controls, different things. And the nice thing about the user interface and the menus here is if you roll your mouse over the option, it usually gives you a description of what it does. So if you wanted to block incoming trade requests, block guild invites, say you're not in a guild and you keep getting spam guild invites or flyby guild invites, you can block those. If you want it to auto loot, meaning just right-clicking on the mob that you killed automatically throws whatever they had on them in your bags, you can do that. The display options. So right now as a new character, you're not going to have a cloak, which is on your back, and a helm, which is what you would wear on your head. But you could toggle those on and off if you wanted to. The action bars. Right now, you currently have the main action bar here at the bottom of the screen. You can also add more bars. You have your bottom left, bottom right, right bar. You notice that appears over here. And the second right bar, so you have two layers. Now if you lock them, then the spells that you currently have on them can't be moved. If you have them always showing, then you'll see the ghost outlines of them regardless of whether or not you have any spells or abilities sitting in the action bars. A couple other things I wanted to point out really quick. The camera, if you find yourself maybe having some motion sickness problems, you may want to have it so that the camera following style is set to never adjust the camera angle. Basically what that means is if I'm running, here I get down on the beach, hopefully I won't run into anything. If I put myself on auto run and I turn my camera and look, you notice it stays. Even when I release the mouse, it stays. Let me turn around here and run back the other way. I'm going to put the always adjust camera. So now when I auto run and I move the camera, it flips it right back to the forward angle always, regardless of where. I personally like it on the never adjust. Camera angle or the camera distance shows you how far away you're seeing things. And then head bob, here I'm going to scroll way in so we're in first person here. And then I'm going to run. See how the screen kind of jogs up and down like it would if you were running? Without it, there's no up and down bobbing as if you were first person running. There are some things you can do with the mouse. You can invert it. Basically means what normally moves you up would then move you down. Those are some of the very basic parts of the interface that you can change. And you'll see now I've got these extra action bars. I'm going to unlock and move the windows so that they're not on top of my action bars. A couple of the other things that you're going to want to be familiar with. Your character information. This is where when you have gear and when you start getting new gear, will show up and you'll add them here. If you show your character information, this is where you get your basic stats. If you do have a pet, his information will be here. And then the different reputations that you're building toward. So that's your character information. If you have any titles, which usually go along with achievements or PvP, they would be here. An equipment manager, you're not going to really worry about that yet because you only have very basic gear right now. In addition to your character information, you want to pay attention to your spellbook and abilities. Even as a new character, there are things in your spellbook that aren't on your toolbar yet. The passive ones are the ones that you can't add to the toolbar. So I mean, even if you tried to drag them, you'll see you can't put passive ability in the action bar. Auto attack, basically if you right click on something that's attackable, it starts automatically attacking it. That's what your auto attack is. You don't really need this on your toolbar at all because it's there. Again, we've got racial passive and racial abilities. So as a troll, I have a racial ability to have a bow specialization. So I'm a hunter, even though I can use guns, it might be best if I stick with bows. You'll see the different types of general spells that you'll get eventually. If we look at the different tabs for your character, in this case this hunter has beast mastery. Revive pet is already here, as is my call pet. Marksmanship, arcane shot is here, and my auto shot. And then for survival, I don't have any survival spells yet. Anything I have here, let's say my arcane shot hadn't been on my toolbar, I could just drag it out of my spellbook and put it right in my toolbar. And I could add, say I wanted to put my pet things all in one area, I could put them here. And that's how you can organize them. Eventually, you'll get talent points, but you won't find those until level 10. Achievements also become available at level 10. Your quest log provides you with a list of the quests you currently have. You can either abandon the quest if you just don't want to do it for some reason. If you click track, it shows up over here on the right side of your screen. You can also click the map, and it will give you a general idea of where you're supposed to be for that quest. The guild finder allows you to select options if you wanted to look for a guild. The dungeon finder gives you information about the different dungeons as far as the bosses, the abilities those bosses have. Not something you're going to be worried about right now. Same with the raid. Now you had help here, which gives you that. There's also a question mark here, which takes you to the same place. So it's a quick way to get to the help. Those are the basics for the World of Warcraft user interface.